So here's what's going on. I get a notice from HOA for breaking their rules, and it wasn't just one notice, but multiple notices. And it wasn't at just one house, but at 2 properties. Now, having to deal with this, I am frustrated, and so are my tenants. First, there was a problem because the trash cans were left out where everyone could see them. The trash day was Thursday, but instead of putting the trash cans away, the tenant left them by the garage, as you can see here. I talked to the tenant and they said they meant to put them away, but they forgot. So in less than 24 hours of the violation, I get a warning email. The tenant was obviously annoyed when I told them. Then a few weeks later, for the same property, I get another notice for the grass being too long. So we're still talking about the same property, and that's the second citation. So this tenant has a lawn mowing service and they mow the lawn every 2 weeks. But because of all the rain we've had in Texas, I think the grass grew a lot faster than it usually would. The HOA, of course, took pictures, and yeah, you can definitely see some weeds over there. And I wish the tenant had pulled them out, but honestly, the grass did not look that bad. I let the tenant know and they agreed to comply, but as you can imagine, they weren't happy. Now, it's not just one house. I'm dealing with the same trash can issue at another property as well. That tenant was a lot nicer about it. Which raises the question, HOA or no HOA? My biggest issue with HOA is that they can legally have way too much power and way too much control. If you have ever had a problem with them, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Their rules aren't just suggestions or friendly reminders. Their rules are enforced. They can hit you with fines, and in extreme cases, they can even foreclose your property. Yes, they have the power to foreclose on your property if you don't comply. Plus, good luck taking them to court because states and courts usually stay out of HOA matters. Generally, courts don't get involved in day-to-day HOA issues. Now, here's the problem. One of the HOA's main purpose is to keep property values up. But imagine if your house's fate rested in the hands of someone like a stockbroker only focused on boosting its value. Sure, this might sound good when you sell, but the way we live often does not align with what's needed to keep the property's value soaring. And to boost neighborhoods' value, HOA sets and enforces rules to maintain a certain look in the neighborhood. Ever notice how houses in these areas look alike? It's intentional, making it easier to ensure everyone follows the same standards. They'll tell you what color you can paint, how many cars can sit in your driveway, when to tidy up your home's exterior, where to put your trash bins, and how your yard should look like. They might even stop you from expanding your home or adding things like sheds or a treehouse. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. It does not stop there. HOAs can limit activities like renting out a room or growing vegetables in your backyard. They might also bar you from parking work vehicles at home, storing tools, or meeting clients at your house. Of course, it depends on the specific HOA and what you signed up for, but it can be a problem if you want to switch careers or start a business that does not fit their rules. In some states, when courts do get involved, the court usually would side with HOA in legal matters. This is because when you buy a house, you agree to follow their rules in the contract you sign when you close on the deal. And if you don't agree, you can't buy a house in that neighborhood. So, what most people do is that they sign the dotted lines. I understand that many people see HOA neighborhoods in a positive light, especially because increasing property values is not a bad thing, and it is often seen as the ultimate goal of home ownership in the US. However, if any of the issues I've mentioned concern you, or if you would prefer to do things your way, it might be wiser to steer clear of HOA neighborhoods if possible. I think the best selling point for HOA is the belief that your neighborhood looks a lot nicer because there are rules that are enforced. But in my experience, that's not always true. Some neighborhoods with expensive HOAs can look like crap, while others without HOAs can look just as good. And I think it's worth mentioning that I've always liked owning rentals in neighborhoods with HOAs. It saves me from having to constantly watch over tenants for every little thing. Plus, for rentals, I'm not interested in changing how the property looks, so I'm not bothered by HOAs regulating what I can do and I can't do on the exterior. It also helps keep neighborhoods tidy, preventing neighbors from cluttering their yards with old cars or other stuff, which helps me keep rents at good rates and keeps my property values up. However, as I'm expanding my rental portfolio and dealing with more issues, I'm starting to rethink if I need to buy in non-HOA areas. A minimal HOA with some rules is okay, but as I'm starting to see more problems, I think I'm going to be more careful when purchasing in HOA neighborhoods next time around. I actually asked this question on my Facebook page. I will leave a link to the post below if you want to read the comments, but after going through nearly 200 comments, most people say that they prefer neighborhoods without HOAs. Something to keep in mind.